Good morning. I am grateful that you are here in this quiet moment at the start of the day where the mind begins to open and welcome a new rhythm of life. Morning always carries something very special. No matter what you went through yesterday, no matter what thoughts are still scattered inside you, this morning is a completely new beginning. It is a clean and gentle space waiting for you to place on it a beautiful thought, a soft breath, a better choice for yourself. There are mornings when we wake up with a calm and steady mind, and there are mornings when we open our eyes and feel even more tired than the night before, emotions, tangled thoughts, drifting like mist that has not yet lifted. Moments like these are not rare, and they are not signs that you have become weaker. They are simply the way your mind tells you that it needs to be heard, to rest, to be touched gently. No one is strong all the time, and you do not need to be strong in every moment. Morning is the place where truth appears in the softest way. It does not judge, it does not require perfection, and it does not force you to become positive right away. Morning simply invites you to look at yourself with more honesty and tenderness. And sometimes seeing your own fragility is the very way you find the strength you have forgotten. Today, instead of trying to hide what is stretching your mind thin, try to loosen your grip and notice that you are alive, you are feeling, and you are moving forward, not in a loud way, but in a slow and conscious way. Every morning carries within it the ability to renew. And whether you are in a challenging season or a peaceful one, morning always reminds you that you still have the chance to begin again in a better way. If this morning you feel tired, be gentle with yourself. If you feel not yet ready, that is also perfectly fine. What matters is not that you must feel good immediately. What matters is that you are here open to a beautiful thought, a small step, a quiet moment of peace for yourself. That alone is enough to begin. Faith, steadiness, and the sense that you are moving in the right direction are not always constant. A human life does not move in a straight line. The mind rises and falls in its own rhythms, like seasons changing or the ocean shifting between calm and waves. There are moments when everything feels clear, thoughts fall into place, and the heart is light. You step into the day with excitement and the belief that you can take charge of your life. But there are also mornings when you wake up and everything feels out of sync. Even the things that once felt certain and inspiring become blurry. This is not a sign that you are falling behind. It is simply the natural rhythm of your inner world. Each of us has our own seasons of the mind. There are seasons when you bloom and seasons when you become still to restore your roots. There are seasons when you move quickly and seasons when you take slow steps as if nothing is changing. Yet every season has its value, and you do not need to resist them. What exhausts us is not the shifting of the mind, but the pressure we place on ourselves to always be fine, always strong, always positive. That pressure takes away the softness of the soul and makes us forget that change is a natural part of growing. No one can stay steady every hour of every day. No one can be clear-minded at all times. And you do not need to be. Morning is the best time to see this truth because it shows you exactly what is happening inside you. There are days when you wake and feel light right away. And there are days when you feel tired from the very first breath. That feeling is not frightening. It is simply your mind asking for a different kind of care. The changing seasons of the mind do not slow you down. They are the moments that teach you how to live more deeply. When you feel uncertain, life is inviting you back to yourself. When you feel less strong, you are being reminded that strength is not rigidity, but flexibility. And when everything feels unclear, that is when intuition and inner awareness begin to speak. You do not need to understand everything right away. You only need to acknowledge what you are feeling without judging it. When you allow yourself to admit that today your mind is not as bright, you create space for clarity to return. Sometimes the most important thing is giving yourself permission to be imperfect. Let me ask you one gentle question simply to remind you that you are here with me in this journey. This morning, what season is your mind in? A season of lightness or a season that needs a little more care? If you feel comfortable, you can share so we can walk together. Thank you for being here. The shifting seasons of your mind do not make you weaker. They make you more true. And it is that truth that helps you grow in a lasting way. Faith is a word we mention often, yet in reality we do not always understand how it works in our own lives. Many people think faith means always feeling strong, always feeling hopeful, always believing everything will turn out fine. But true faith does not depend on emotion. Faith is not excitement. Faith is not a constant high state of mind. Faith is an inner decision, a quiet choice that sometimes no one sees, a choice that only you understand as you try to hold on to something meaningful for yourself. Faith does not require you to see the outcome. Faith only asks you to see a direction. Even when the road ahead is unclear, even when nothing around you suggests certainty, faith can still live in a small thought. The thought that you will keep moving a little more. The thought that you will not give up. The thought that you choose what is good instead of letting fear lead the way. In the moments when nothing is clear, faith is the ability to keep the mind from panicking. When life becomes unpredictable, faith is the place where you set your peace. It is not a promise that everything will change immediately. It is simply the steady decision that you will not let fear define who you are. Faith is like an anchor dropped into the water. It cannot stop the waves, but it keeps the boat from drifting away. It is important to understand that faith does not look the same in every season. Sometimes it is strong and full of energy. Sometimes it is small, like a faint glow. But whether large or small, faith still holds value. A little faith is always better than none. A small positive thought can still change the direction of an entire day. Many people wait for positive feelings before they begin to believe. But the truth is the opposite. Faith does not come after emotion. Faith comes before emotion. You choose to believe first, and the feelings will slowly follow. You choose a direction, and the mind and heart will find their way to that direction. This is why faith is an invisible inner strength, yet deeply practical. It shapes the path of the mind. It determines how you see the world. Faith does not require you to appear strong to anyone. You do not need to prove anything. Faith is a journey between you and yourself. It is the quiet dialogue between you and your deepest thoughts. When you choose gentleness instead of self-blame, that is faith. When you choose to take one small step instead of standing still in worry, that too is faith. When you choose one good thought instead of letting fear take over, you are nurturing a faith you might not even notice. Faith does not remove hardship. Faith simply keeps you from being swept away by it. Faith does not change reality instantly. Faith changes the way you face reality. And sometimes changing the way you see a challenge is enough to change the direction of your whole life. Today, you do not need a great amount of faith. You only need a little faith to help you step gently forward. You only need one bright thought to begin your day in a better way. Linh was a young person like many others, someone who once had clear dreams and believed that with enough effort, life would always move in the direction she hoped for. But life does not follow the straight lines we draw in our minds. After a project failed, Linh felt she was no longer herself. Her confidence dropped. Her enthusiasm faded. Each morning she woke up, looked in the mirror, and saw a tired face she could not recognize. The hardest part was not the failure, but the feeling of not knowing how to begin again. One morning, sitting by the window watching the first sunlight fall across the floor, Linh realized that she had spent all her energy looking at what she had not accomplished. The things she had overcome were forgotten. She remembered the nights she worked through until dawn to help her team finish their tasks. She remembered the moments when she felt exhausted but still pushed herself a little more. She remembered the time she stood up after falling quietly when no one was there to see it. Those memories did not carry loud victories, but they held a quiet strength she had stopped seeing in herself. In that moment, Linh understood that faith does not come from a life that always goes smoothly. Faith comes from remembering how resilient you have been. When you look back and see how much you have already walked through, you stop doubting your ability the way you once did. Line did not suddenly create a grand plan. She only held onto one small thought. If I have made it through so many things before then, today taking just one more step is already enough. That small thought softened her mind. Line began to change through very simple actions. A quiet morning sitting with her breath. A small reminder written on a note by her desk. A short walk before starting work. Nothing miraculous happened, but each small action sent a signal to her mind that she was returning to herself. Not fast but steady. Not loud but true. She discovered that strength does not lie in doing something great. It lies in daring to continue even when you cannot see the outcome yet. Line's story is not a story of achievements. It is the story of a mind learning to rise again with kindness toward itself. Every person carries a past filled with moments of resilience we often forget. But when we remember, we find the strength to keep going. That is faith. A faith that does not come from the world outside, but from the life you have lived. If this story touches something in you, if you are in a season where you need a little courage to begin again, I invite you to leave a gentle comment. You can write, "I'm ready to change," or even just one word, "ready." This is not for anyone to judge. It is simply a way for you to tell yourself that you are ready to continue. Thank you for being present in this moment. Morning is often the time when unarranged thoughts appear the clearest. Many people wake up and the first heaviness they feel does not come from the body but from the things they have not resolved. Even a small pressure can feel amplified in the morning, making you think you are standing before a mountain of challenges. But the truth is, challenges are not always obstacles. They are simply signals that you are entering a season that requires deeper growth. They are not meant to frighten you, but to help you see the parts within yourself that still need strengthening. Life will always bring days that test you in ways you do not expect. A sudden phone call, a message that makes your heart sink, a stalled project, a decision that worries you, or sometimes just the feeling that your mind is tangled for no clear reason. These things do not mean life is against you. They are doors inviting you to step into a better version of yourself. And sometimes those doors are opened by the most uncomfortable experiences. When you face a challenge, the first thing shaken is often your faith. You doubt your abilities, your choices, and even the things you once believed firmly. But this is completely normal. A challenge does not come to see if you are strong enough. It comes to give you a chance to see your real endurance. Every moment of uncertainty and every second you feel like stopping is part of an inner journey that is growing. A challenge is not a question about capability. It is a reminder that you are entering a new area of growth where comfort is no longer enough to help you move forward. Often what scares us is not the challenge itself, but the thought that we cannot overcome it. But morning is the perfect time to look back at everything you have already walked through. Not to be proud, but to remind yourself that you have been stronger than you believe. You have handled difficult seasons that once felt impossible. You have endured things beyond what you imagined you could, and in a very quiet way you kept moving. This means you were never truly stopped. You were simply learning a new lesson for the wider steps ahead. A challenge does not make you weaker. It only helps you see more clearly the parts that need care. When you look at a problem, not as a barrier, but as a practice for the mind, it becomes less frightening. When you understand that no growth comes from comfort, the hard days become an important part of your journey. And when you know you do not need to face challenges with perfection, the weight softens. This morning, if you are facing something that worries you, remember that you do not need to solve it right away. You only need to see it with a calmer mind. A challenge is not what stops you. A challenge is what opens a deeper, brighter, and more mature version of who you are becoming. The human mind does not become strong on peaceful days. It grows in the moments when you feel you have no energy left, yet still try to take one more step. The days when you think you learn nothing are often the days quietly shaping your endurance. When life becomes difficult, the first thing that trembles is not your situation, but your sense of inner safety. Yet, that is also the moment when the mind begins to learn how to stand on its own without relying too much on external ease. There are mornings when you wake up, look around, and see that you are still in the same circumstances, still facing things that cannot yet be resolved. Situations like these easily make you believe you have not moved forward at all. But the truth is, every minute you endure, every moment you choose calm, instead of letting worry take over, you have already walked a long way without noticing it. The mind is strengthened not by leaps but by small actions repeated each day. A deep breath, a choice to stay gentle, a slightly softer way of seeing things. These simple things create resilience. On difficult days, exhaustion often makes you feel as if you are getting weaker. But sometimes the truth is the opposite. When you keep your life moving even though your heart feels unsettled, that is the clearest sign of strength. Strength is not the absence of emotion. Strength is continuing even when emotion does not support you. You may not see the progress right away, but your mind is learning how to rise by its own inner force. It is learning not to be swept away by sudden negative thoughts. It is learning to keep distance from fear instead of letting fear control you. One of the most important lessons of the mind is learning not to react too quickly. Emotionally mature people are not those without feelings. They are those who know how to pause before letting feelings take the lead. On challenging days, if you pause even for 1 second before saying something you do not mean or before letting worry pull you too far, you have already won over yourself. The mind grows stronger little by little like that, not rushed, not loud, but steady. There is something important you need to remember. Hardship does not make you less valuable. It makes you deeper. People who have moved through confusion, heaviness, and slowing down often become the ones with soft but strong hearts, people who understand themselves and others more. Difficult days are not signs of disorder. They are life's bigger exercises that refine what you believe, what you want, and how you meet reality. Let me ask you a question so you can feel yourself present in this journey. Today is something challenging you, a thought, a feeling, or a situation that asks you to be calmer than usual. If you want to share, you can leave a few words. Thank you for listening to yourself in this moment. A strong mind is not a mind without difficulty. A strong mind is a mind that knows how to rise, adjust, and continue, even when nothing is perfect yet. When faith grows weak, many people think they need to do something big to lift themselves up. But the mind does not need strong pushes. It needs small, steady, gentle signals that show you are still choosing to move forward. A difficult day cannot be changed by one grand action, but it can be softened by a few very small and simple steps. These small steps are how you tell your mind that you are still here, still caring for yourself, and still choosing what is better. The first step is to look back at what you have already overcome without exaggerating or glorifying anything. Simply acknowledge it. You do not need to recall great victories. Just remember the moments when you were more patient than you realized, calmer than you expected, or steadier than you thought. When you remember these things, you activate a memory of your own strength. The mind begins to respond with a quiet confidence that if you made it through before, you can do it again. The second step is to write down a simple reminder for yourself. A short and honest sentence, such as today, I choose calm, or I will take small steps, or I do not pressure myself to be perfect. Avoid big or unrealistic statements. Your mind needs truth, not slogans. This reminder becomes an anchor when you feel unsteady. With just a glance, you remember why you are trying. The third step is to speak with someone who knows how to listen, or simply speak into the space around you. Saying a few sentences out loud can lighten the mind much more than keeping everything inside. If you have no one to talk to in that moment, speak to yourself in the mirror or talk while you walk. What matters is not who hears you, but that you acknowledge your feelings with your own voice. The mind responds well when you show it that you are present with it. The fourth step is to move your body. You do not need heavy exercise. Just step away from your seat, walk a few rounds, or stand by the window and breathe deeply. The body is a doorway to your mental state. When the body relaxes, the mind naturally slows down. Light steps can change the tone of a heavy morning. You do not need to go far. You only need to move enough to send your mind the signal that you are stepping out of tension. The final step is to allow yourself not to solve everything today. Often the exhaustion does not come from the problem itself, but from demanding that you fix everything immediately. Life does not work that way. Some things need time. Some things need your calm waiting. And that acceptance reduces inner pressure. When you stop forcing yourself to be perfect, you create space for faith to return. Faith does not disappear because you have a tiring day. It only needs to be reminded that you are still trying in your own quiet way. And every small action today is a thread connecting you back to the strength within you. The life of every person is made of more than one season. It is a weaving of bright and dim times, calm and shaken moments, times of moving forward and times of pausing. And through all these seasons, faith acts like a red thread that keeps you from losing yourself. Faith is not always strong, not always clear, but it is always present as a gentle current of energy that helps you stay steady in your most uncertain moments. In your season of joy, faith reminds you to notice everything that is unfolding, not to take the good for granted. It keeps you humble and grateful, helping you stay grounded instead of getting carried away by excitement. In your season of difficulty, faith becomes the anchor that keeps you from feeling alone in your struggles. It gives you the sense that no matter how heavy the present feels, there is still a direction to look toward. Faith does this quietly, without show, without demand. In your season of waiting, faith is what keeps you from quitting halfway. Waiting is often the most confusing season because you see no results, no signals, nothing certain. Yet in the stillness of waiting, faith teaches patience. It reminds you that not seeing anything does not mean nothing is happening. Life has many silent processes that you only recognize after you have walked far enough. And in your stormy season, when everything happens at once and you can hardly breathe, faith becomes the anchor that keeps you from being swept away. It does not make the storm disappear, but it keeps you from breaking under its weight. You may feel tired or lost, but faith keeps you from losing yourself. It helps you see a small point of light ahead, just enough for you to keep going. Faith matters in every season, not because it changes your circumstances, but because it changes the way you stand inside them. With faith, you face life with more calm, less panic, and a greater ability to see solutions. Faith adjusts your thinking, softens your emotions, and keeps your pace steady in moments when you feel you cannot move any further. And the beauty of faith is that it never asks you to be perfect. It only asks you to hold on a little. As long as you do not let go completely, as long as you keep one small thought that you will continue, that is enough. This morning, if you feel you are in a season that is hard to name, gently acknowledge it. No need to deny it or to push yourself beyond what you have. Simply admit that you are in a time that needs more care. Recognizing the season you are living in is already a profound step of growth. If this passage touches something in you, I invite you to leave a soft comment such as "I am ready to change," or even just one word, "ready." This is not a ritual. It is simply a way for you to confirm with yourself that today you have chosen to stand with the strength within you. Thank you for being here in this journey. This morning, in this quiet moment, may my heart settle so I can see life with gentler eyes. May I release the things that have worn me down and open my spirit to receive the peace I truly need. I do not ask for anything great. I only ask for clarity to understand where I stand, what I need, and what blessings I already hold but have not yet noticed. May I have the wisdom to see the right direction, even if it is a very small one. May I have enough stillness not to react too quickly to the things that shake me. And may I have the patience not to force myself to be strong in every situation. There are days when my heart feels heavy as if carrying a gray sky. There are moments when I do not understand why I am tired, only that my mind is overwhelmed. In those moments, may I remember that I am not alone. May I trust that everything I'm going through has meaning and is part of a journey that is shaping me to be more grounded, more tender, and more aware of myself. I know life does not promise ease, but I also know that within each person is a small light enough to guide them through the darkest paths. May I see that light within myself and not let it be hidden by fear or confusion. This morning I place down the thoughts that have made my heart heavy. May I release what I cannot control and hold on to what I can guide. May I have enough humility to recognize my limits and enough courage to step into things that feel beyond me. May I listen to my body and mind to know when to rest, when to move forward, and when to pause to find my breath again. May I keep a soft heart in a world that easily hardens me. May I speak kindly to others and also to myself. May I walk through this long day with a mind not too tense, a heart not too burdened, and a spirit bright enough to choose what is right rather than what is easy. I do not expect life to change instantly. I only hope for enough peace to stand firm in what is happening and enough faith not to give up when things show no sign of getting better yet. This faith does not need to be large. It only needs to be enough to remind me that I am trying. Finally, I offer gratitude for this morning, for this gentle breath at the start of the day, for the chance to begin again, even with one small step. May I enter this new day with quiet in my soul, steadiness in my thoughts, and tenderness in the way I face myself and others. May today be a bright day, a light day, and a day in which I become a better version of who I am. Amen.